I ain't gonna hold y'all. It took a lot to figure out what the hell to talk about today because Dame and his agents are dragging this shit out. So let's not even waste any more time. Let's go ahead and slide into this. Oh yeah, real quick, for those who are jumping on that Threads bandwagon, be careful. Be careful. Twitter is formally threatening to sue Meta over threats. Just be careful, okay? I know it's easy. I already got an IG, so I'm gonna just go ahead and line this Threads up. People that are following on IG can now follow me on Threads. It's easy. I can run the numbers up. Slow down. That's all I'm gonna say. Slow down. Be careful. It's Zuckerberg, so just be careful, okay? We know how he gets down when it comes to that data type shit, man. Just be careful. Oh, thank you, X Productions. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I'm trying to build a whole thing over here. But thank you, man. Thank you for checking out the content. All right. But you can't catch me on Spill. If you're on Spill, let me see. Let me go ahead and put this in the in case you're on Spill, I am over there now just to kind of set myself up just in case Twitter goes down or Twitter just becomes so irrelevant that we can't really make it a viable platform anymore. I am on Spill. I'm hesitating on Threads because it's Zuckerberg. He's got to clean up some stuff. There's a lot of data you're handing over, so just be careful there. Also, if you have a Threads account and you decide sometime down the line you want to delete it, get rid of it, you actually can't do that unless you delete your entire Instagram account as well. Be careful. Can't just run and jump to every new app. If you watch the latest season of Black Mirror, gotta read the terms and conditions, okay? You gotta read those terms and conditions because you just never know what you're signing away. So Zuckerberg is out here and he is collecting a lot of data on you just for giving you a free Threads account. You never get anything good for free. And Threads appears to be along the same lines as they're not going to give us anything that great for free unless you sign over your health. Zuckerberg wants to know what your heart rate is while you're on the app. That doesn't sound weird to y'all? All right, anyway. So, Damian Lillard. Dame is out here and his agent is doing a lot of work. His agent is trying to earn his commission. He is out here breaking it down, making calls to other teams and letting them know, don't even bother calling Portland. Don't even try to conjure up your own 3, 4, 5, 6 team trade. Dame is only committed to playing in Miami. Damian or Dasmanian Lillard only wants to play in Miami, period. You can see that here. Damian Lillard's agent sends a message. Truthfully, he wants to play in Miami, period. When is this going to be over? We continue on. Damian Lillard had, that's the key word there, had interest in the Warriors before Golden State landed the point fraud. This is as per Ramona Shelburne. They could have waited for Dame. Dame is from the Bay Area. We all know that. I know he was interested. If he was going to ask for a trade, the Warriors would have been on that list. Bruh. This man who pushed back against Russell Westbrook, running from the grind, that was sending subs to all athletes who joined super teams and, ran from the grind, was interested in the Warriors. So we would have Dame and Steph in the same backcourt. Do you know, and we broke the numbers down yesterday, the defensive rating. Do you know how horrible that backcourt would have been defensively? Do you know that would have been one of the worst defensive backcourts in the history of the NBA? You could take the over every game because those two dudes, these two dudes right here, these two dudes are giving it all up on defense. You got to figure out which one you want to hunt. You can actually alternate instead of hunting Steph every play. You can come down. All right, no, we didn't hunted Steph for 4 straight possessions. Let's go ahead and give Dame some of this work and go get another quick 4-5 buckets. Like, bruh, if they could have pulled this off as great as people would have been hyping it from an offensive standpoint, it would have been the complete opposite defensively. Dame's out here with a worse defensive rating, not more than just Steph Curry, but worse than Luka. Whoever you can think of in terms of bad defensively, I can pretty much guarantee Dame has a worse defensive rating than them. 120 plus defensive rating for Damian Lillard. That is atrocious or atrocious, depending how you pronounce it. Horrible. Script, Dame must be on that good stuff. Hey, man. It's legal in Portland, right? I think pretty sure it's legal in Portland. I mean, hey, he out here. He is definitely out here. So I think the main thing to kind of just keep in mind is that even though he doesn't have a no trade, I was imploring Portland to stand 10 toes down. But being able to, text with some people and check out some group chats, Blazers are stuck. Blazers are stuck here. There's not that much they can do. We all know, them included, the Heat included, know that the proposed deal, whichever way you want to do it, whether it's Tyler Hero, whether it's Duncan Robinson, I've even seen some things where they try to throw in, what's your man said that's down with J. Cole? Caleb Martin. Like, all those types of, it don't matter. The trade is shitty from a Portland point of view. There's nothing that can fix that. Brooklyn could throw in Ben Simmons. All these teams could try to maneuver all these types of assets around. They could make this a 4, 5, 6, team deal. Doesn't really matter. At the end of it, Portland is getting rid of Damian Lillard and is going to get not next to nothing, but nowhere near what his value is to Miami in this deal. Now, what is really the problem here? Well, the problem seems to be stemming from the last extension that Dame signed. He signed a 4-year extension just about a little over a year ago. 4 years, $176 million. And that deal is heavily backloaded on the back end. About 50, 60 M's on the back end of that contract. That seems to be the biggest hangup in Portland being able to get more for Damian Lillard in a potential trade. If Portland never would have gave him that extension, which they didn't have to. But again, Dame took advantage of a young GM. Joe Cronin's a young GM in the job, learning on the fly. And let's go ahead and keep it a buck. He got G'd up right here. He got G'd up by Dame. Dame banged him over the head for more bread, one more max bag on the way out. And now a year after signing a 4-year, $176 million extension, Dame's like, all right, dogs, it's been real. Now, again, hate the player, hate the game. I'm not mad at it. The problem is that he's in such a bad spot in terms of Joe Cronin, the Trailblazers GM, that he now has to take pennies on the dollar for Dame dollar. That's problematic as fuck, bruh. That's problematic as hell when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. I have a valuable asset that I am actually willing to move on from in trade. Yet I'm only going to get maybe a fifth of the value of the player that I'm handing over. A guy that's a top 10 player. The best I can get out of it is either a Tyler Hero, a Ben Simmons salary dump, or just a shit ton of picks from a myriad of teams in a 4, 5, 6 team trade blockbuster. That's it. That's what I gave him all them contracts for? Just to flip him for washed Ben Simmons? That's it? Salary dumping Ben Simmons and Duncan Robinson? And some picks in 2030? That's it? The problem is, yeah, that's it. So what do you do? What do you do if you're Portland? Can you do anything? I was all about it yesterday. I was all about it saying like, yo, man, the Portland, if they hold firm, if they talk that talk, but, people reached out to me and said, hey, this GM, he not one of those. He not one of those. So, yeah, I feel you, but he's not one of those. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll fall back then. I'll fall back. Like if he's one of those where he's shaking the light or he's inexperienced to the point where he may not have the cojones to stand 10 toes down and say, nah, Dame, I'm calling a bluff. I'll see you in training camp. And we'll revisit this in training camp. He's not on that type of time, apparently. And there's a lot of other stuff going on with the potential transfer of ownership. There's a lot going on in Portland. So it makes a lot more sense to me why Portland is going to get jammed up here. It makes a lot more sense. Scrub Zero, pennies on the dollar. Big facts. Big facts, bro. It is exactly that. It is pennies on the dollar. And unfortunately, when you look at everything that we're trying to navigate here, at the end of the day, player empowerment, it works for Dame, right? Even without a no trade, it works for Dame. Miami's going to get a top 10 player for the low. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo are not even in this deal. Now, we know Jimmy would never be, but you could have probably spun it a few years ago that you would have to put Bam and Tyler Hero in this deal. The fact that in just a mere couple of years, it's gotten to the point where Dame could be traded to Miami. And the only thing that Miami is standing to lose is Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and some future picks that are at least 5-6 years down the road. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, the Rudy Gobert trade was an outlier. The Kevin Durant trade from Brooklyn to Phoenix is an outlier. The Paul George trade from the Clippers to the Clippers from the Thunder is an outlier. But that's what people are expecting for a player of Damian Lillard's ilk. That's what you're expecting here. Because ultimately you're giving Miami a chance to be a top 3 seed in the East. Even if Jimmy has an off regular season, even if Bam has an off regular season, Dame will be there to carry the load. Pause. Because this will be the first team in a while that he knows every night I walk on this floor, I have a chance to win. And it's not even necessarily about me. Jimmy might be the most perfect number 2 option ever. When this Dame thing goes through, Jimmy Butler might be the most perfect number 2 option in the history of the NBA. Yes, he can go off and get you buckets. He could go get you a 50-piece. He can go get you a 40-piece. But ultimately, he loves nothing more than just giving you about 22 a game, crashing boards, getting a couple of dimes, and playing hard-nosed defense. That's it. Only in Miami has he been forced to be more assertive to be a number 1. And even though Jimmy thinks he's a number 1, we know he's not a real number 1. He could be a number 1 by default, but in actuality, and they've proven it as they have now tripped up twice in the NBA Finals with Jimmy as their number 1. They can't get it done with Jimmy Butler as their number 1 because Jimmy Butler's not a number 1. So now they need a real number 1, and they're getting that in Damian Lillard. I still have my doubts about, is that enough to get a Larry O.B.? I think that's enough to threaten Boston, even with the Latvian world star, Kristaps Porzingis. I think that's enough to threaten the Bucks, as the Bucks are running it back seemingly for only the next 2 years. But outside of that, I don't know if they're beating any team in the West, even with Damian Lillard. Scrub Zero, the timing of Dame's trade request got the Blazers stuck. Yeah, they should have been. That's why we get mad at front offices trading a player. But that's just business. I'd rather trade you a year too soon than a year too late. In Portland's POV, trading Dame now is about 2 to 3 years too late. They could have done this. They could have did this when they traded CJ. When they traded CJ and waved the white flag in terms of that dynamic backcourt of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, once they broke that up, that should have been the tea leaves of like, all right, it's time to move on from Dame. Let's not sell this whole thing of we want to build around him now. We're going to try to improve the pieces around him. The best piece y'all ever gave him or were able to get him was CJ McCollum. You had an old Melo. Nurkic never really turned out to be that dude. Zach Collins was beset by injuries. Nasir Little hasn't really turned out to who we thought he could be. Jeremy Grant has been okay. He's been pretty solid, but he's not even a second option. Like, no. Once you got rid of CJ, that was it. That was waving the white flag. They should have moved on at that point. And here we got Dre. I can always depend on Dre to give us the hot tea of what's going on and the more viral stuff. Let's see what Dre got on today. What are your thoughts on Brandon Miller? I personally think he'll be okay. How about you? All right, Dre. So Brandon Miller has been really bad in Summer League. And I think he's had, 15 fouls in 2 games because you can go over 6 fouls in Summer League. He's had 15 fouls, I believe, in 2 games. And let's see, Brandon, let's see, come on, Brandon. A lot of spelling errors today. All right, let's see what we got. Agbaji went off, but let's see, Brandon Miller. Okay, so he had 6 points and 8 fouls last night in 28 minutes. I watched the highlights. You can't pay me to watch Summer League yet unless it's Big Vic, and that'll be tomorrow night. But I did see this clip of him finally scoring, and the crowd kind of gave him like a sarcastic cheer. That's it's looking rough for Brandon Miller right now. Do I think this is going to be a problem into the season? No. Do I think now this makes the do I think that this makes Charlotte reconsider not taking Scoot? I don't think this should make them reconsider that. I think it's like 2-3 years from now when they see just how good Scoot is, passing on him is going to be a mistake. Scoot Henderson should have been the second pick in this draft. Brandon Miller fits better schematically from a traditional starting lineup standpoint. He is a natural 3. You know, he said his GOAT is Paul George. That should have been a red flag, more so than the alleged incident in Alabama to me from a basketball POV. But, you know, here we are. But, yeah, he's shooting 50% from the floor, 8 fouls last night. It just hasn't been good. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? But I think he'll be fine. I think he's a good enough player. He's going to play well with LaMelo. People are not high on Boog Knight being a piece there in Charlotte. I'm going to hold out hope that Boog Knight can turn things around on and off the court. You know, I don't know what Miles Bridges can bring with all the stuff he's gone through. Charlotte has a chance to be a play-in type team like they were a couple of years ago. So, you know, I'm not mad at them taking Brandon Miller. I think you could have had something really special taking Scoot Henderson at 2. Scoot and LaMelo would have been nasty in a good way. Okay? Like, it to me would have been such a dynamic backcourt. We just finished talking about CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard, 2 small shooting guards or scoring guards that were able to, you know, at times dominate and be a good enough team to get to the conference finals. If you have Scoot Henderson and LaMelo Ball in the same backcourt, to me, that's 2 guys who can go drop dimes heavy. LaMelo can shoot. Scoot is learning to shoot from Steph. You could have had your own Splash Brothers right there in Charlotte. Low key. You could have your own Splash Brothers in Charlotte. But instead, you go the traditional route and you take Brandon Miller, who's a wing, who's a 3. You know, I see Dre here talking about his height at 6'9". All I heard was Brandon Miller at 6'9" is the best shooter in the draft. He was definitely not the best shooter in the draft. But I knew Scoot was just different. His attitude and skill set, he's elite. Yes. All this second part is absolutely correct. Brandon Miller is a good shooter for his size, for his position, right? For a three, he's a good shooter. But here's where the evaluation part, you kind of have to turn certain stuff off and kind of just watch someone play basketball. How does Brandon Miller's skill set translate in the league? He's fashioning himself after Paul George. Cool. That means you're going to be a bucket. That means you're going to be aggressive at the point of attack. That means you're going to finish with authority. That means you're going to put a lot of shots up. Again, it's summer league, but 6 points, 4 boards, 7 dimes, that doesn't sound like Paul George to me. So I'll give him a break. Oh, yes, here we go. Through 2 games, 13 points, 4.5 boards, 5 dimes, 4.5 turnovers, 6.5 fouls. He's shooting 44% from 3, but he's shooting 46% from the floor. So then how do they have him here at what, 40%? They had him at like 50% from the floor. That's not 50%. Anyway, so yeah. Dre, in a weak East, Scoot and LaMelo could have made the finals in a few years for sure. If the other pieces would step up, sure, why not? Because that's the key part, Dre, is that like the East is going to turn over in a few years. Like, I'm telling you right now, I think the Bucks window is close to win a chip, but in terms of this core group, they only got 2 years left. They're all leaving when Drew's leaving in 2 years. The Celtics thing, even if they re-up Jaylen Brown and give him that $295 million supermax, I don't think this squad is going to be out here, 4 or 5 years from now, still running shit with Tatum and Brown. Philly, we don't even know who all going to be there, okay? Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell might not even be there next year. Not this year. He'll be there this year, unless something crazy happens. But next year, there's a really good chance Donovan Mitchell could not be a Cleveland Cavalier. Knicks tape is Knicks tape. The Nets are the Nets. Like, Miami, this Dame window is going to kind of coincide with the Jimmy Butler window, which I believe is like 3 years, 2 to 3 years. After that, I don't see them coming up with another star, especially with what they may have to give up, future first-round picks and all that in this deal. Like Charlotte, if they play it right, if they could have went for Scoot, that backcourt, especially with LaMelo coming off injury, like the roster they have here, yeah, I know how I feel about LaMelo. Love LaMelo. Hayward's contract will be off the book soon. Oubre's already gone. I believe Dennis Smith Jr. is gone. At some point, they'll get Rozier out of there. Like, there's going to be a lot of space for them to get better, a lot of room for them to get better. And if you had a LaMelo and you had a Scoot, that's star power. And players respect, top-tier players respect star power. Brandon Miller, to me, does not have star power. Not right now. It's just not his game. His game is very smooth. Smooth doesn't work on the timeline in these highlight reels. Dre, PG-13, first step is elite. Nah, top tier. It was. Let's go ahead and put a let me see. Be active in my own damn chat. It was elite. I don't think he has that first step eliteness anymore. But if you're telling me Brandon Miller at his apex can be Indiana Paul George, if you're telling me he could be Indiana Paul George, then I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all, because Indiana Paul George had people really thinking he could run next to LeBron. That's how real that was. But it really just goes to show, Brandon Miller has a lot to learn. Does his game translate at this level? Is him being the type of player that he is? Where is it? There we go. Brandon Miller at this level, being the player that he is, being the force that he's expected to be. We saw it at Alabama at times. He wasn't dominant every game. But when he was dominant, it was like, oh shit, this is NBA dominance. Now, that's against the SEC, which, again, let's be clear, isn't the greatest in terms of basketball competition. It's better. It's been better than years past, but it's not top tier talent coming out the SEC year after year after year. So you're sometimes dominant against SEC basketball players. Cool. How does that translate at the next level? If you're spotty at times against the SEC in basketball, how can I expect you to be dominant in the league? You have the size, you have the skill set, you have the ability. And I don't want to use a lazy trope, but do you got that dog in you? We know Scoot got that dog in him. It seems like Big Vic has got that dog in him. Ask Britney Spears. But does Brandon Miller have that dog in him? Now, hanging around Jordan, he'll pick up some stuff, right? He'll get some dog adjacent via Jordan. But when it's him and LaMelo's going too nut, pause, and he needs to get the rock, will he demand the pill? Or will he just, all right, well, I guess LaMelo just going to go off. So, all right, I'll just crash boards or something. You're the number 2 overall pick. They didn't draft you to crash boards. They didn't draft you to set LaMelo up. You're supposed to be getting the rock from LaMelo and cooking whoever's in front of you. And if there's a mouse in the house, somebody caught on the switch, do damage. You got a big on you, take him outside and using that Paul George elite first step, drive right by him. But if you're just going along with the flow, which from the highlights that I've seen of him here, you know, that's a bad pass. Like, bad decision making right there. Not the greatest defense. That's why he's getting the foul trouble. Again, where is he going here? Where is he going? Gets the screen, pull up. He'll make that. That's fine. That's a soft pass. That can work in the SEC. That can't work in the league. Gets driven right by with the left hand. Okay. Out of control there. Had to move, but was out of control. And then the traditional step back. Handles. Weak left hand. Is he Jaylen Brown? That left hand looked a little weak. That left hand looked a little weak. Is he Jaylen Brown? I've seen him go left in college. Yeah, he lost a left-hand dribble there. I don't know. Some ain't right. Now, a lot is being expected of him, right? A lot is being expected of him. So we'll come off this now. So ultimately, it's just going to be like, when you're stuck in the air, we know the trope. You know, if you're jumping in the air to make a pass, you know, you have to get rid of the ball before you come down. Like, you can't just jump in the air and then decide to pass. You got to have your mind made up. If you're going to jump in the air, shoot the fucking rock, right? Brandon Miller seems to be in a space where I'm doing the moves that cooked in the SEC, and they're not working in Summer League. Now what? Well, that's where training comes involved. That's where footwork comes involved. You might have been able to have loose footwork in college and get away with it because you're 6'9" and you're a premier player. That's not going to fly against dudes that are fighting for a living. You're going to be against grown-ass men. You're going to be against the dudes that's 26, 27 years old that's been hooping all across the world, playing against all types of players, getting all types of skills and fundamentals from all different types of systems. Your little step back ain't going to work. Your little 360, off the dribble, that ain't going to work. What's the pivot? Dre, the more I think about it, LaMelo and Scoot would have been a top 3 backcourt behind only Mitchell and Garland and Harden, Maxey in the East. Well, here's the thing. Mitchell might not be there, and Harden might not be there. So they could be the best backcourt in the East, although some people might say Dame and Jimmy. We got to go ahead and give Dame and Jimmy that. But yeah, you're not off there. PG was also a freak athlete in his prime dunk contest. Well, he didn't win, but yeah. No, he had bunnies. Look, Paul George was supposed to be, he wasn't supposed to be better than LeBron, but he was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to be in LeBron's way. That was going to make things annoying. It was him, Dwight Howard. At least Dwight actually beat LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, he beat Cleveland LeBron to get to the finals. People forget that. That was a real thing that happened. But yeah. Dre, the more I think about it, Jaylen Brown averaging 27 points per game and about 50% shooting with no left hand yet. Just imagine when his left hand gets better. Bruh, he's been trying to get that left better for 2 years now. He's been trying to get that left better for 2 years. Once the Heat exposed it, what was that, 2 playoffs ago? He's been trying to get it better since then, and it looked really bad this year. It looked like teams forgot that he can't go left, and then they had to remind themselves, oh shit, that's right, he can't go left. And then it was over for him. He had nothing. Dre, Brandon Miller needs to hit the weight room. Yeah, I think a guy his size, strength is going to be very important because you're 6'9", you're going to be asked to guard some bigs. You're going to be asked to guard some bigs, and that spin might not work anymore. But maybe when you spin into the post, you're not falling backwards. Like in that clip, let's see if we can find that clip again. It showed him falling backwards, and that's because he doesn't have the weight. Or here's him guarding in the post. He's getting Swiss cheesed up. That was light. He's getting Swiss cheesed up. Like, he's in the paint. Okay, he's got good position here, right? And then he takes, let me turn that off. Then he gets the bump and he has nothing for it. And then he's not fast enough to realize he's getting spun off. Because once you feel a guy pause on the post, it's real easy to figure out where he's leaning. Now, let's see if we can figure out did he give away where he was leaning? Yeah, he's leaning. He's leaning towards the middle there. So he's asking to get spun off here. He's asking to get spun off. Because once you make him go this way, so once he's leaning middle, you want to make him even go more to the middle and then spin off the other way. And then it worked. It was textbook. This shit right here is textbook. They should be teaching kids this. You feel where he's at, right? Feel where he's at. You get the bump. You make him think you're going middle because he's already leaning middle. So he thinks I'm going to be uber aggressive and jump out here, more middle, to cut you off. But I'm really setting you up for the spin. Easy. Easy money. Easy money. So, yeah, he's got a lot to work on defensively, it appears. And, just off these highlights, we just been cruising. You see him get by somebody there. So he's able to drive here. Gets the screen. Nobody decides to pick him up once he gets the screen. That's all of us on this stream could do this, right? All of us on this stream could do this. Okay? So it's really going to depend on what Brandon Miller can do. But this one right here, and the bunnies don't look at it. He don't look athletic at the point of attack. He jumped mad late. First of all, jumped mad late. There was no indication that he was not going to try to dunk this. From right here, he's letting you know he's getting the gather set up. Right here, he's getting the gather to let you know I'm about to yam it. And Miller is still trying to figure out, should I stay or should I, go ahead and get in front. He could have made it to the dotted line if he would have slid over instead of trying to set himself up like he's going to block somebody at the point of attack. And then you see the lack of bunnies in the lateness of the jump. No chance. No chance. So he's got a lot to work on defensively. As you see, again, he waited a second too, and that's all it takes. In this league, 1 second late, you're giving up a dunk. You're giving up a dunk if you're 1 second late. He hesitated right here. Right here, he should know I'm the last line of defense. I'm already in the paint. I'm the last line of defense. Yeah, sure. If you commit too soon, he could pass to your man right here. Either way, a bucket is going to be given up. But you're taught in ball, stop the ball. Second too late. That's all it takes at this level, Brandon. Dre, Miller better not play around tomorrow versus Vic. That's a natural. Yep. And this is Big Vic's debut. You can guarantee Big Vic is going to be hunting Miller. I think this one here is the one that really signifies how he needs the weight room. Because he has space. If he attacks, he has the space. Again, he waited. He had the space. If he does the quick dribble instead of the big hop, just go. When that ball, as soon as he hits, turn. He's facing away from the basket. It's little things like this. Like you're not facing towards the point of attack. Now you need to gather. All of this is gathering. This is all time for the defender to get around the screen. Now he's got a better angle. Where's my telestrator? Oh shit, we breaking shit down today. This guy's going to get to here faster than he can get to here because he's so far away. But if we back this up, which means I got to come off the telestrator. If when he gets to screen, he immediately goes, he's there. And this guy is still fighting off the screen. He's heading this way. If he goes immediately, now you're focusing on this guy now. Make him decide. You're going to step up or you're going to play your man because he could pick and pop at the three. You're forcing this guy. The whole point of the screen is to make this guy make his mind up. But Miller doesn't do that. He takes his time, or he doesn't realize, I guess, that he's too far away until it's too late. He's like, oh shit, I got the lane. And now let me try to dribble to the lane. But now other people are able to react. Now this guy sags off to clog up the lane. Now your man done caught up with you because you took too long out here. Now he has to spin off, but the footwork ain't right and he's out of control. And now he's got another guy swiping down on him. All because he was too late right here. Then he forces up the ugly shot. Yeah, it's look, people are going to be psychoanalyzing these players ad nauseum. Vic could go out there and have a stinker and people will be raining down all the takes on him. You know, and don't think that the league didn't do that by design. That is a Friday night. Big Vic is getting his debut off. Dre, his first step isn't elite. Jaylen Brown might not have a left hand yet, but his first step is still elite, and Brown is strong like an ox, so he can score well. Yeah, those are two things that, again, small, extremely small sample size, 2 games. But yeah. He does not appear to have the strength of a Jaylen Brown, and the first step is definitely not elite so far. Now, he can get better. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be a bust, and I don't do all that type of shit. But I think there's definitely some things that we see that needs to be worked on. And that might be the advantage of these guys that go to the G League or go to overtime elite like that. That's the advantage. You're getting taught to be a pro. You're not just killing at the college level, auditioning for the pros. You're acting like a pro at 17, 18 years old. Instead of, I'm going to go do the one and done thing. The one and done thing is a thing of the past, bruh. The one and done thing, if you're a premier player, one in college is not for you anymore. If your whole focus is to get to the league, you should not give a damn about no one and done. There's the G League and there's overtime elite. You can go overseas for the bag. Like, yeah, you can go to college and get a bag via NIL. But are you being trained to be a pro at the college level? as opposed to leagues that's whole design is for you to be a professional. Something to wonder about. All right, I'm kind of over this Dame shit. Like, as you see here, Lillard's agent is calling potentially interested teams, telling them he only wants to play for the Heat. Lillard would seemingly not cooperate if he does end up in Miami. This could get ugly between Lillard and Portland as this standoff only begins. Now, here's the reason why Woj doesn't want to say the obvious. Woj has a relationship with the new GM of the Portland Trailblazers, right? Cronin. I believe him and Cronin worked together. Wasn't Cronin part of the whole Draft Express thing that ESPN kind of bought out? So Woj and this guy have a connection. Woj, because of that connection, has sources all throughout the Portland Trailblazer front office and organization. So he's been hesitant to just say, hey, you're screwed here, buddy. You got to deal this man to Miami, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's the one, he threw the Knicks out there. He's been trying to get the Nets out there. You notice all the stuff about, well, this team is interested in Boston is in the mix. And no. It's just Miami, because that's the only place this man wants to go. So therefore, it's only Miami. Your mans is going to have to take a short, Woj. Sorry. Dems be the breaks. Dre, playing in a college system could definitely hurt you on the NBA level. I mean, I think the shift is going to have to begin if it hasn't begun already. The college game should be for players that are not lights out, can't miss prospects. If you're a lights out, can't miss prospect, I'm going to be a lottery pick regardless of whether I go to college or go to G League Elite or whether I go to G League or Overtime Elite. If I'm that type of player, I never step foot on a college campus. Now, if I'm a guy that will make the NBA, but there's no real way how yet, there's no real path laid out yet, as opposed to, maybe a fringe first rounder, maybe a second rounder, maybe an undrafted guy, a two-way guy, a summer league invite guy. If I'm that type of player, then all right, yeah, I'll go to college. And maybe I could build myself up, get better as I go to college. But if I'm one of them, if I'm a top 10 pick, top 5, lottery pick, whatever, the fuck am I going to college for? This is going to be my job. And for me to get better at my job, the earlier I can get there, the better. It increases my earning potential. It increases my growth from an acumen standpoint, all of that. Why would I go to college? It just doesn't make any sense. This happens in other sports, and people don't seem to care too much about it. Soccer, they're getting kids as, 7, 8 years old, if not younger, and locking them into, big time programs, junior league teams, and coaching them up. Your job is going to be a footballer. That's it. It's no college for them. You think Messi went to college? Messi ain't going to no damn college. He was a prodigy off rip. Neymar? Think Neymar went to college? No. Hockey, same thing. They catch you when you're young and they train you up. Only here do we still have this, asinine backwards thing of the NCAA actually being something viewed as relevant. In other sports and other parts of the world, that shit don't fly. This shit don't fly. I wouldn't say that because the two best young players since the 2019 draft who both made an all-star team and earned and carried their teams to the playoffs were Anthony Edwards and John Morant, both the NCAA players. Yeah, I know you came with that stat about a week ago as well. Here's the only problem with that. Look at the teams that they were on, too. If there was talent already there as well. Jaren Jackson Jr. existed. Karl Anthony Towns existed. Like, so yeah. So yes, if they were if they were truly carrying these teams, like number one option, then okay, sure. But I could say the same thing about LaMelo. LaMelo carried his team to the play-in and was an all-star. Like, we can bend this any which way to make it work for our narratives. I mean, the fact that 5 of the first 7 picks were either G League or overtime elite. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence. The top players are going to be guys that are going to go to the straight to the league setups. All right. NBA rumors from around the league. We can still talk about the don't keep talking about the this topic if you want, Dre. I'll pull back up. But I just want to move on just from a content perspective. So we talked a lot about Paul George and the proposed Knick trade, and the framework we unearthed yesterday was RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Fournier, and 3 first-round picks. Well, now we have alleged reporting that says, hey, that trade, there was an even earlier trade talk during the draft. And it was not involving RJ Barrett, but it was featuring Obi Toppin instead of RJ Barrett. Now, truth be told, if I'm the Clippers, ain't no way I would have ever accepted this deal. The only way I would have accepted this deal is if then you would have added RJ to this deal. But ain't no way I'm giving up Paul George, and the best player I'm getting back off rip is either Grimes or Obi Toppin. There's absolutely no way, if I'm the Clippers, that I would do this deal. But again, this is just saying that they had talks about it, which doesn't really amount to much because Paul George tried to get an extension out of the Knicks, and the Knicks said no. So it doesn't matter what the package was leading up to that point, because ultimately it got serious enough to where Paul George was brought into the discussions and was asked about it and was told what his requirements would be. And he said, I want an extension. And once the Knicks heard that, they walked away from the conversation. So it doesn't really matter what was discussed even prior to this past conversation, but it's the timeline. We're all waiting on Dame. We're waiting on the beard. So here we go. Even shit like this can make news. Dre, don't be surprised that Scoot Henderson and Amen Thompson are the top rookies this year. Well, we had a conversation yesterday about Chet. Don't sleep on Chet Holmgren. I'm giving you this hot take. Don't sleep on Chet Holmgren. He's a rookie this year. Now, we know the league is going to do everything in its power to make sure it comes down to Big Vic, or at least Scoot and Big Vic. The league's going to do everything in its power to make sure that it's between Scoot and Big Vic. However, don't sleep on Chet Holmgren. He is actually a rookie this year. And he's been looking good in Summer League, and he got that dog in him. We're still trying to figure out if Brandon Miller got that dog in him. I know who does got that dog in him, and that is Chet Holmgren. Let's see if we can sneak some Chet Holmgren out here. I am not spelling good today, boy. Chet Holmgren. Think I'll make me spell the whole fucking thing out. All right, fine. Videos. Oh, here we go. Rookie of the Year odds. Boom. Plus 550 for Chet. Hey, I might take that. Scoot at 320. If it always comes down to Scoot and Big Vic, it's going to go to Vic. But if you throw Chet in there, I like that. That's good value. I think it's worth a little sprinkle. This is not financial advice, but just saying. I mean, Amen Thompson at plus 5,000. So if you really want to get froggy, put a little 10 spot on that. But in terms of someone who can actually do it. Oh, excuse me. That wasn't even the right Thompson. My bad. Amen is up here, 2,700. Again, still a good sprinkle for $10. But Chet, put a little 50 spot. I can see that. Again, not financial advice. But you can see what he's doing. Chet is meeting people at the rim. Now, you see here, there lies a difference. Brandon Miller was late. Look at Chet's first reaction. The guy is at the top of the key. He's driving by his man. Chet's down here. He's got 1 foot in the paint, just like Brandon Miller did on that defensive play. 1 foot in the paint. He decides right away, I'm going to meet him at the rim. I'm going to meet him at the rim. He's already decided. Man's is not even in the paint yet. But Chet has decided, I'm meeting you at the rim. And because he's got the crazy wingspan, being that he's 7'2", he can just jump late and still smear that on the glass. And now we're going to see Chet do work. Again, he's 7'2". I'll let y'all get that in real up. No audio. Woo! Hey, Chet Hive, I'm ready. Call me part of Chet Hive. I'm ready. The hezzy. And the strength to finish at the rim. Absorbing the contact. I don't think y'all hear me, though. Took the bump. Playing defense again. Again, meeting people at the rim. Meeting people at the rim. Deciding early. Oh, he got the drive? He's already leaning. I'm meeting you at the rim. I'm here to erase shots. I'm that dude. Oh, they made me activate the video. I don't want to do all that. Let's go back to where we were. Kill the sound. Meeting people at the rim is extremely important for a guy of this size. And again, doing it without fouling, also huge. Rule of verticality, shout out to Roy Hibbert. Rule of verticality, shout out to Roy Hibbert. And then he's leaking out on the break. He's leaking out on the break. Guards the man at the 3-point line after getting the block. You see it. Guards the man out and then leaks out. Leaks out. Hey, sleep if you want to. This is Chet Hive over here. Again, meeting people at the rim. Deciding early. Again, he's already coming. Pause. He gets by his guy. He's already on the way over. He's already decided, I'm meeting you at the rim. And because of, again, the rule of verticality, straight up, it then swats that shit like it's volleyball. Spike that shit. And then he's off to the races. Again, he's lurking. He's already made his mind up. You see that foot? He's already made his mind up. I'm coming over there to block that shit. Punch that shit on the glass. Karch Karai. Spike that shit. Hey, Chet Hive, we outside. Chet Hive, we outside. Untamed, what's good, man? Chet, rookie of the year. Hey, bruh. We just saw some good odds. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? Plus 550 for Chet? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. Oh, they took, oh, here we go. Plus 550 for Chet? I'm not saying I won't dabble. You know? Dre, OKC, top 5 in the West. Let's see. We're going to handicap a way too early Western Conference preview. Let's see. Am I blocking myself? No, not yet. Okay, cool. Is OKC better than Denver? No. Are they better than Memphis? If Chet is who I think he is, I think they're better than Memphis. Are they better than Sacramento? Offensively, yes, even though the metrics won't bear that out, but defensively, no. I want to see that OKC team defensively. Phoenix, no. OKC's not better than them. Clippers at full strength, they're still better. I think OKC could give the Dubs a run for sure. SGA kills Steph every time. Lakers, 7-game series. I don't know if I trust OKC, but I don't think OKC's top 5 ready. I think they're playing ready. And I think I would not be stunned if they were able to squeak out the 6th seed. I think they have that type of potential to be that good. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Untamed, saying how you feel about my C's getting rid of Grant. It's a weird trade, man. It's a really weird trade. Hang on, where is it? Here it is. It's a weird trade, yo. Like, I get it. He's expendable, undersized. Like all the stuff we talked about in terms of Marcus Smart in regards to the negatives, you can pretty much apply those to Grant Williams. Now, the key for me is if you can figure out whatever the hell is going on with Brogdon and he's okay, I think you're in a good spot still. I think you're in a really good spot. I think Porzingis is that much of an upgrade. I think Porzingis is that big of an upgrade. I know that there's been a lot of people saying, Smart's the heart and soul. And I think a lot of that shit is overblown. To be honest with you, Untamed, I think a lot of that shit is overblown. Like, yeah, he was a leader. Yeah, he was the point guard, the green hair, all that shit. Like, yeah, we get it. But ultimately, in my opinion, y'all were never going to win with Marcus Smart as your point guard because he ain't a point guard. To win a championship without a real point guard, you have to have an exceptional backcourt. Or a player that is really exceptional. And while Tatum flirts with exceptional, I don't know if I'm really there to put him full time as an exceptional player. He's a gifted player, but he's also got that cosplay Kobe bullshit in him. So, I think you're in a good spot if they can navigate what's going on with Brogdon. Have you heard anything with Brogdon? Like, obviously he wasn't included in the trade, but how serious is his injury? Because if he's not there, and I know Grant was used a lot as an undersized big and all that stuff, but he's a bench guy. But if you're telling me Marcus Smart out, Grant Williams out, a better Brogdon or a healthy Brogdon with Latvian world star Kristaps Porzingis, I'm here for that. I would do that swap ASAP. Every time. So, we are definitely hopping around today. The chat is pushing the conversation forward, and I love that. I love when y'all hop in the chat and, ask me different shit, and I'm ready to discuss any and everything. So, please continue to do that. So, Kobe allegedly is going to be on the cover of NBA 2K24, and this all seems great. They do the trumped up version of the game where it's going to be a special edition where you get all the virtual currency shit off rip if you pay them like an extra $40-$30 or whatever. So we had the Black Mamba edition that has this, super serious photo of Kobe. And then if you get the standard version of the game, or I guess another higher tier version, if you get the Kobe Bryant edition of the game, this is, the look of it. Here's the problem, though. Let's take a look at this hand right here, okay? Just take a look at that background. See the little blend of purple. You see the fingertips, all that type of stuff, right? I know it's weird, but follow me here, right? Let's go to the last picture, to the prior picture. Let me know when you see. Oh, wait. What's that? What's that? And what's that? Y'all see that, right? Like, I'm not crazy, right? Like, I could go get the telestrator. And let me see. Can I point to it? right there, and right there. What are those two things? What's happening here? So EA, big time company that they are, just took one Kobe image and probably went to, I don't know if they use Lightroom, Photoshop, maybe they use Canva, who knows, and just superimposed a big old Kobe photo over the other photo? Is that really what EA, a billion-dollar entity, is doing? To roll out a new video game that they want you to spend 70, 80, 90, over $100 for? Untamed. I have not, but put yourself in his shoes. He damn near was gone to the Clips. Now he has that at the back of his mind. It'll actually show how professional he is. I don't think you would have those concerns with Brogdon. I think Brogdon's already moved around a lot in this league. He went from Milwaukee when he was Rookie of the Year. He was Rookie of the Year for Milwaukee, and they traded him to Indiana, and he still hooped. So, you know, I don't think you have to worry about that. I think the one thing you might have to worry about Malcolm Brogdon is what's his mental makeup with always having to push through injuries. Like, he was not expected to be an NBA star, but he flashed in such a big way with his point guard skills and his defensive acumen that he forced us to learn his name and to respect his game. And he's been on that tier of, oh, he's about to be out of here. Like how Tyrese Halliburton has taken that step. But it just hasn't happened with Malcolm Brogdon because of injuries. It's always injuries. So I don't think you have to worry about him being a professional. He's been moved around a lot already in his very short career. So I would not be concerned with that. Scrub Zero, 2K, not EA. Wait a minute, I said 2K? I mean, I said EA? My bad if I said EA. EA long gone, my bad. But yeah, you have the Mamba edition here, and they're just superimposing. I mean, bro, this is clear as day, bro. Like, I saw this on the Elon app, and somebody had pointed it out. I was like, wait, hold up. That is for real what they did. If people get a video game and they're paying I mean, I don't know how many of y'all still buy the physical video game, but if I go to the store and I pay $100 for a video game and the cover still has this shit, I mean, they could just mask over this and just paint the little purple shit over it. But the fact that nobody checked this, there's no QCing, there's no quality control for 2K. Nasty. Nasty. All right, let's see what else we got. Legion Hoops. Let's see. We will shop around the timeline. Jeff Van Gundy is looking into a return to coaching after being laid off from ESPN. That is not a smart move for Jeff, but he's a lifer. He's an NBA lifer, man. He should take some time off. Like this guy was forced to sit down. Different reasons, obviously. Kings made a trade no one cares about. This is the type of stuff that we were talking about earlier with like Woj talking about Dame because he's cool with the GM and he's got people in the front office that he used to work with. There could be a point where Portland looks around and says Miami is the best offer we have. No shit, Woj. It took you 3 days to come to this conclusion. We all knew that. We all knew that a week ago. People on that thread, man. People hyping up that thread. Be careful. Again, this is just being posted for clicks. We know this will never happen, but it's being posted for clicks. Untamed. Yeah, but injuries always happen. It's part of the game. He doesn't have a Kawhi or Zion history. They say our team is too injury prone, but they're all minor things. Well, the minor things become big things after a while. And Malcolm's kind of had that problem. Yeah, like Milwaukee, he flashed. Yeah, he was rookie of the year. All right, I just want to make sure he was rookie of the year. Okay. Let's see. 75 games, 48 games, 64 games, 54 games, 56 games, 36 games. Like, yeah, he has not really been around, man. He's missed a lot of time. He's missed a lot of time, bro. Like, yeah, I know, I forget which year is the bubble year. Was it 2019? 2019 is the bubble year, so we'll give him a pass that. But then the year after that, 56 games, I was trying to do the math yesterday. If you're a starter in this era of the NBA, if you're a top tier player or a starter in this league, you should be averaging, if you're healthy, 67 to 75 games a year. 67 to 75 games a year. Because you know that they load manage everybody. There's very few top tier players that don't get load managed. But in these 50s, you can't have that. You can't have that. You get hurt a lot. And even if they're little knickknacks or whatever, that's still you missing time. I mean, fresh off the rookie of the year, he didn't even play a full season or even close to it. So I don't know. Last year was his best year from a health perspective, but he wasn't even starting. And he's 30 years old, so he's an older guy. He's coming into the league older. So I think Untamed point guard is still an issue. And that's why your man's Tatum, cosplay Kobe, is trying to get Dame somehow, some way, even though there is absolutely no way that would happen. But ultimately, it's a lot going on there. There you go, my man Chet Hive. Chet Hive, live in effect, double-double. Let's see if Shant's giving us anything today. Nope. Oh, yeah, Tybalt deal got matched with Portland, so he stays in Portland. Untamed. Yeah, he's averaging 57 games a year. You're right. But, yeah, I guess I'm looking at last year, 67. Yeah, I mean, I think last year was a good step in the right direction, right? Like, last year was a good step. Because he just had to prove that he could be healthy. Even if it's coming off the bench. And, he got sixth man of the year, so that's fine. But now that he's proven he could be healthy, or at least we thought he proved he could be healthy, you would assume now that Marcus Smart is gone, Brogdon could step up and be a real point guard. And again, you can't get swept up in assist numbers, but at his best, he's giving you 7 dimes a game. But as someone that really paid a lot of attention to him with Indiana, less so with Milwaukee, he really just has a good flow of when to get guys involved. And I know that was always a evolving thing with Marcus Smart. Like, sometimes he would be good at facilitating, and sometimes he wants to call his own number. You're not going to have that issue with Malcolm Brogdon because he's a real point guard. Is he a Rondo type? No. Is he a point fraud type? No. But I think if I can pick your brain, I don't want to give him Drew Holiday because I think he's a better point guard than Drew ever was. But think Drew Holiday with some point guard skill, with better point guard skills. That to me was Malcolm Brogdon's ceiling. Is Drew Holiday, but a better point guard version. But he has to stay healthy, and that's just always been a thing. You don't want Dame? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. He is horrible defensively. We broke down how bad he was defensively yesterday. He has over a 120 defensive rating. Absolutely horrible. Worse than Luka and Steph Curry. Worse. Saying, can you name 3 true point guards that are cheap? Okay, let's see. Who has a free agent list that's still available? Spot Track. Let's see. Spot Track. Oh, wait. Hoops Hype had that list, right? Where's the Hoops Hype? Here we go. Hoops Hype. Where's the free agent tracker? Top players available. I guess this is it. Point guards. Oh, so they are updating this. Okay. Oof. Ayo. I mean, low key, for the cheap, Untamed, I think you could get John Wall for the cheap. But again, he's a clutch guy, so you might have to be wary of that. But John Wall, but I'll put an asterisk towards that because I don't know if you could get him for the cheap. You should be able to get him for the cheap, but I don't know. Dragic is a guy you should be able to get for the cheap. He's a point guard. Now, in Miami, he was asked to score. So he kind of got away from his true point guard skill set. But I think if he's able to go to Boston, I think he'll realize it's not necessary for him to score. Maybe just knock down the open 3. But they need you to facilitate. And I think Goran Dragic is a guy that can do that. Aaron Holiday signed somewhere already. George Hill, nope. Austin Rivers, nope. Kemba, nope. Ntilikina, nope. Ish Smith, nope. Neto, no. Kennedy Chandler, that's the kid out of Tennessee. He's gone already? Wasn't he drafted last year? Oh, but he was a 2nd round pick. Low key, Untamed. If this is the same Kennedy Chandler, I think it is. Let me just confirm. If this is the kid out of Tennessee, yeah. Oh, go get Kennedy Chandler. Go get Kennedy Chandler. He's a point guard. And like a real point guard. Kennedy Chandler. And that's the cheap. You could probably get him on a 2-way. Like, David Duke, that name just always, every time I see that name, I think of something else. If you know, you know. So that's why I always get like, Archinato, nah. MC Dub, he's still out here? Hey, low key. Now, you won't do it. Scottie Pippen Jr. can go. He can hoop. Scottie Pippen Jr. can hoop. Now, he's not a point guard to me. I like him more. He's a scoring guard. I did not mean to open that. God damn it. Let me see. Wow, they got him as a point guard. I don't see point guard on him. I mean, he's got the size of a point guard, but he doesn't play like one. You don't think John Wall could be a distributor? Hey, at this point in his career, I mean, right now you got Peyton Pritchard starting. So if that's where we at with it, why not dust off John Wall? But all right, outside of John Wall, if you're anti-John Wall, I think you go Dragic, and Kennedy Chandler. Kennedy Chandler, I think, is a real point guard. And if you really want to get deep into the bag, I guess you could do Scottie Pippen Jr., but again, restricted, so I wouldn't even waste my time. Frank Jackson, but I mean, he's more of a shooter at this point. Yeah, I mean, I think Kennedy Chandler and Dragic. So it's slim pickings, bruh. I'm not telling you like the market is flush, but right now, Ayo, I'm not that big on. Like, I think there's some skill set there, but I'm not going to go crazy, and it's restricted, and the Bulls could match. So you'll be doing a lot of things for. Wait, that could have swore Ayo got signed. Let me just make sure. I thought Ayo was signed. Let me just go there and then go there. Okay, so they have not. Okay, so Ayo is still out there. Okay, you know what? I'll throw Ayo in there. I don't know what the Bulls are going to do. They already signed Javon Carter. And then they re-up Kobe White. So there's really no room for Ayo. But so Ayo, John Wall, and Dragic, I say the top three. And if you want a deep sleeper, I would go down here to Kennedy Chandler, who was out of Tennessee last year. It went to Memphis, and I guess it was a second-round pick, and they're not bringing him back. Untamed. I'm not anti-John Wall. I'm anti-33 years old, even though we're the same age. I mean, look, man, Brogdon's not that much younger, bro. I think Brogdon's 31, right? Brogdon ain't that much. Yeah, he's about to be 31. Like, I don't know, bro. And John Wall, I mean, obviously he's not Wizards John Wall, but I think he would be better than what he was in Houston, and he was being held back in Houston. Clippers didn't really give him no run. They chose Russell Westbrook over him, so that gives you some pause for concern. The three ball is not a weapon for him. You're looking for him, but you see him, he's still running dimes up. Still running dimes up. And the thing about him is he can still attack the rim. Now, he's nowhere near as fast as he used to be, but he can still attack the cup. He still has a good enough first step to where he could get into the paint and do some damage. Let's see. So Michelle Beadle did a thing, right? She talked to Big Vic, Victor Wembanyama, in advance of his opening game at Summer League tomorrow night. Big deal, right? I just want to remind y'all of how Michelle Beadle got into the industry. And specifically why she does things or happens to always do things for the Spurs. Her dad is a journalist in San Antonio. He's a big-time journalist. That's kind of how she broke into the industry. And how she got all the way up to ESPN at one point, I don't know. But her plug was her dad. Her dad plugged her in. No shade, but it seems as though she has bounced back into the industry by going back to where she can always be protected, which is in San Antonio. A lot of pressure on Big Vic coming into his game. He has a lot of swag to him, unlike Brandon Miller, who's been out here floundering around, fouling every chance he's gotten. 15 fouls through 2 games for Brandon Miller. So it's going to be interesting to see how Big Vic adapts to the pressure. The only reason why we're watching tomorrow night is because of Victor Wembanyama, and he's going to have Brandon Miller, who's going to have some games under him. You know, they playing tonight? I'm not sure they're playing tonight, but he's got 2 games already under his belt. Big Vic versus Brandon Miller tomorrow night. It should be Scoot, but you can't do 1 versus 3. You got to do 1 versus 2. I would have still did 1 versus 3 because Scoot Henderson is box office. All right, Chet, we talked about. Tybal offer sheet has been matched. This was an interesting topic. I'm going to lob this to y'all, and I'm going to just sit here and wait. Someone suggested, I know Untame's going to have some feelings on this one. Kyrie is a top 10 point guard of all time, if not higher. And then someone took the liberty to list out 10 point guards and says, who is Kyrie better than here on this list? And we have Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, the point fraud, Steve Nash, Russell Westbrook, Isaiah Thomas, a.k.a. Zeke, Jason Kidd, Gary Payton. So I'm asking y'all in the chat, who is Kyrie better than on this proposed top 10 point guard of all time list? I'll give y'all a few minutes because I think the stream is a little laggy today. I have my telestrator ready to cross out some names here, but I want y'all opinion first because I don't want to be charged with, leading my audience. Top 10, Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, the point fraud, Steve Nash, Russie, Zeke, J. Kidd, and the glove. Who is Kyrie better than on this list? And I'm glad Scrub Zero said it, so I don't have to say it. There's a lot of players on here that aren't point guards. And Kyrie is also not a point guard. Scrub Zero's paying attention. But if we're to play that game, let's go ahead and have some fun. I will get the telestrator out. Is Kyrie better than Steph? No. Better than Magic? No. Better than Oscar? No. Better than Jerry West? No. Better than the point fraud? Even as a point fraud hater? No. Is he better than Steve Nash as a point guard? No. Is he better than Russell Westbrook? I'm going to give him yes. I think Kyrie is up. Nope, that's the wrong thing I want there. Let's see. Let's get a squiggly line. Thank you. I think he's better than Russie. Is he better than Zeke? No. Better than J. Kidd? No. Is he better than Gary Payton? I'm going to say yes. So I think Russie in the glove, if we're saying Kyrie is a real point guard, which we know he's not, but if we're saying he is, I think he's only better than two players on this list. Now, Oscar Robertson, before my time, but I've read enough and I've got older uncles that watched them that will, tear my head off if I dare to say Kyrie would smoke Oscar Robertson, even though it might actually be true. So, I don't know where we stand on that, but I think in terms of actual point guards, Raphael's in the chat. Was good, Raphael. Appreciate you pulling up. Was AI a point guard? Hell no. Hell no. AI was not. Hell no. Now, the only grace we can give AI, who the hell was he supposed to pass to, especially in Philly? I mean, Mutombo had hands of stone. Eric Snow couldn't make a jumper. Aaron McKee was a defensive player. Tyrone Hill, ask Oak about Tyrone Hill. Come on, man. Like, who is he supposed to pass to? So I appreciate those pulling up. If you could drop a like on the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. The algorithm likes it, therefore I like it as well. Welcome, Raphael. Thank you for pulling up, man. This is a community that we're building here of actual, real conversations about sports, not just hot take debate shit. Like, we're sitting here, we're really punching up numbers, we're looking up stats and shit like that. Like, we're really in here talking heavy sports talk. So I'm glad you could pull up, glad you could be part of the conversation. We're out here streaming all the time, talking basketball, talking sports, all that type of good shit. So if you're down with that, feel free to pull up, and you're welcome here, man. You're welcome. But right now, we're trying to navigate who's a better point guard. Scrub Zero, I think Kyrie's a better player than Nash was, but as a point, Nash is better. And I think that's the key here. If we're talking about point guards. And I got into a debate about this on the Elon app a few weeks ago. And like people kept throwing Steph, Dame, Ja. And I'm like, these guys aren't point guards. Just because you're 6'3" doesn't mean you're a point guard. Being 6'3" doesn't make you a point guard. Now, they might put you in the position where normally a point guard plays. That doesn't make you a point guard. There's a reason why I can sit here and say Jason Kidd is a better point guard than Kyrie. Kyrie has better handles and is a better shooter, but he's not a better point guard. There is a big difference between a better guard or a better player as opposed to, who's a better point guard. Point guard's position is not just the most assists, because you see, we don't even have John Stockton or Mark Jackson on this list, and they got all the assists in the world. But we're talking complete players who can play the point guard position like it's supposed to be. And that's where Kyrie falls off. Kyrie's not a point guard, never has been, doesn't want to be. If AI wasn't a point guard, then Steph is not a point guard. No, that's our whole point. That's our whole point. I'll give you my true opinion on who's a point guard on this list. Magic. Damn. That was all caca. My bad. I wanted to go back to the arrow. Where's the arrow now? Okay, now I have the arrow. Magic. Point fraud. Nash. Kidd. If we're really keeping a buck, that's it. I don't even think Zeke was a real point guard per se, but he was more closer to a complete point guard. But if we're really on that type of time, it's Magic, it's the point fraud, it's Nash, it's J. Kidd. That's it. If we're really getting down to the shits about it, those are the only real points. Now, Isaiah could score and dish it. And there were games where he had to dish it. Jerry West was more of a bucket. Oscar Robertson, triple dub, so he got dimes, but he was more known as a lethal scorer. Steph has never been a point guard. Just because he's 6'2", 6'3" does not make him a point guard. Gary Payton was a defensive point guard that liked to score the ball as he got better as a player. Was not really a facilitator. Outside of throwing alleys to the Rain Man, what else was he doing from a facilitating point of view? So, I mean, that's where, to me, these conversations go crazy to me, because it's like, yo, we're talking about people that don't even actually play the fucking position. We're talking about people that don't facilitate. Ja Morant plays point guard. He's not a point guard. Damian Lillard plays point guard. He's not a point guard. Steph Curry plays point guard. He's not a point guard. These are just short shooting guards. Call them what they are, or make up a new word. They're scoring guards. They're guards who can score. That's it. They're not a shooting guard. They're not a point guard. They're just scoring guards. I'm going to call them combo guards, hybrid guards. You want to pretty the shit up? It don't matter. But I know what they're not. And what they are not is point guards. Appreciate it, Raphael. Appreciate it. Let's hit the chat again. Untamed. Let's just go by the position as given, because that true point guard convo can get tricky. No. Let's have it. Let's have it, Untamed. Let's have it. How can it get tricky? Let's have it. I'm fired up about this topic because it's a lot of, we're giving people are playing positions like, okay, Nikola Jokic, he's a center, right? Right. By default, right? He's a point center, though. He runs point. Him and Jamal Murray both run point for that offense in Denver, right? We can go down the line. Let's see. LeBron. LeBron has played the 3, the 4. Some people allege he was the 1 at some points, even though he never actually was. LeBron's the point guard, right? He's the point forward. He initiates the offense. He calls plays out. He moves people around. That's what a point guard does. LeBron is nothing more than the evolution of Magic Johnson. 6'9", can handle the rock, has the vision, the court vision that is top tier, God tier level, and loves to facilitate. Now, as he's gotten older, he turned into, well, I mean, he always was a bucket, but he's been asked more to score, more so than just straight up facilitate. Okay? But his bread and butter, what made him stand out so much more than kids he was coming up with, is the fact that he loved to fucking facilitate. And that's not something you get in a lot of kids these days, especially a kid that can walk out here and get a $100 million shoe deal without playing 1 second in the NBA. So that's where the conversation goes to me, is like, we have guys that are playing certain positions. It's just in name default only. LeBron has never really been a small forward. He's been a point guard his whole career. He's a power forward or a small forward that handles the rock. That means you're a point guard. You're facilitating and initiating offense. That means you're a guard, sir. You're a point guard. Point forward, whatever you want to give it, just make sure a point is in front of it, because people will understand that connotation. Nikola Jokic is a point center. LeBron James is a point forward. Raphael, that's why I asked, was AI PG? Because if you would have said to me AI, but no to AI, but yes to Steph, I would have been out. Lol, great chat, bro. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, no, I don't play games like that. Like we have real conversations over here. I have no biases. I'm not a fan of any team, so I'm not going to give you takes that are just a fan's perspective. And the chat is really good along those same lines. Even though we got, Untamed is in here as a Celtic guy, it's okay. He still cooks. He's got good knowledge. We still let him live. Even though Jaylen Brown has been saying he's gonna work on that left hand for 2 years and he's still got a trash left hand, it's okay. It's okay. We still welcome in Untamed in here. All right, let's see. If that's the case, my top 5 PGs are in this order: Bron, Magic, Stockton, the point fraud, and Draymond. Draymond's another one. Draymond is a point forward. Draymond's a point forward. Draymond is more of a point guard throughout this whole Warriors run than Wardell has ever been. And I'm not mad at your list. I'm not mad at your list. I would probably always have Magic over Bron. But but I know that's probably a Celtic thing, so I get it. It's hard for you to say that, a Laker is the best point guard of all time. I get it. But yeah, like I said, Stockton he's not even on this list. Stockton's not even on here. Mark Jackson's got more assists than damn near this entire list. He's not on here. I mean, there's point guards, and then there's guys that are sub 6'4" that play like, that's like saying CJ McCollum is a point guard. Doesn't make sense. He's a 6'3" shooting guard. Guess what? So is Steph Curry. But how come with Steph we say he's a point guard, but CJ McCollum we say he's a shooting guard? It's a clear difference. I think your list, if you're talking about your own list, I think your list is more than solid. I think your list is pretty good. I mean, you know how I feel about the point fraud, but even I checked him off. He's a point guard. My list includes Rondo, My list includes Marbury. Like, I got some other guys that most people will not have on their list, but I think your list is a solid list. Yeah, the Braun, Magic, Stockton, the point fraud, and the habitual nut hitter. Yeah, I think you're in a good spot there. I think you're in a good spot. And that's kind of all I'm saying is like, let's just go. Like even John Wall. John Wall was never a real point guard. John Wall, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, those guys are not point guards. They played the position. They were called point guards, but in what a point guard is actually given responsibility to do, those guys did not perform that function. Those guys were score first guards. John Wall was score first. Derrick Rose was score first. Russell Westbrook was score first. Oh, Untamed is going all the way. He's doing a full top 10 here on the fly. He's going to do a full top 10. Salute. But that's kind of where my head is at, because it's like, and I'm telling you, I was in a huge debate, and people were like really coming at me like, nah, man, these guys are guards, man. You're just spitting narratives. Oh, because Jamal Murray, people who don't watch basketball don't understand that Jamal Murray is really a point guard. They see him taking step back threes, and they think, well, that's not a point guard. He's more of a point guard than, damn, I got too many tabs open. Where is that list again? That's AO. Is it here? Nope, that's not it. Where is it? Here? No. God damn it, did I lose the list? All right, we'll just keep going through. I got to close some tabs here. Let's close some tabs. There we go. Let's close that. Let's close that. Too many tabs. All right, so when we look at this list, right, we can keep going and add more people to this list, and that's fine. But the fact of the bottom line is that Steph has never been a point. Oscar and Jerry West, you can just leave them there just because they were before our times. I'll let some OG in his like 50s and 60s and 70s tell me about Big O and Jerry West. I've been told they're point guards. Like I said earlier, I got uncles that will tell me that they're point guards, but I haven't seen it, so I can't call it. But as much as I don't like the point fraud, I can't deny that he's a point guard. He's a point guard. But I'm putting Rondo on this list. I'm putting Marbury on this list. People sleep on Marbury. Marbury was putting up Big O type numbers even while he was with the Knicks. Like, people slept on Marbury. I got Marbury in my top 10. Rondo. I wish this guy would have played this way longer. Utah Deron Williams. He was a real point guard. Oh, he used to flambe the point fraud. He used to flambe. It was hibachi on the point fraud whenever Deron would pull up. It was bully ball. But when you look at that core that came in, that was the John Walls and the Derrick Roses, the Russies. They just were just dudes that would just be hyper aggressive at attacking the rim. And John Morant is the latest incarnation of that. And a lot of people were trying to put Scoot Henderson in that same lane. But the problem is that Scoot can facilitate like he's Rondo. And that's why, to me, I'm like, oh my God, he's the cheat code. Because you're pairing, he has D Rose before he got, ran out there by the meniscus tearing taskmaster Tom Thibodeau. He's got D Rose, John Morant, Russell Westbrook athleticism. And then he could dish it like Rondo. That to me is a cheat code. And that's why I would have took him number 2 if I were Charlotte, even with LaMelo Ball. Because now I dare y'all to stop my backcourt. Both my guys are facilitators. Both my guys can yank it from 30 feet out, pause. And both my guys can drive by anybody in this league in different ways. Six to 10 for Untamed. Kid, Jokic. God damn, he's putting Jokic in there. Nash, Rondo, D. Will. Okay. I think Jokic, people will push back against that for sure. I would not. But let me see here. Let me see if I can get a let me see if I get a little notepad thing up here. Hang on. Let me get a fresh notepad. And let's get rid of some of this information. Okay, let's see. That should show. All right, let's see if that shows. Y'all can see that? Yeah, y'all can see that. All right, cool. So let's go ahead, right? Top 10. This is in no order. I'm not nice like Untamed. I'm just gonna jot down names. Rondo. Point forward. Oh damn, this font is way too damn small. My bad. Control plus. All right, Rondo, point fraud. Oh, it's gonna be like that the whole time. All right, let me see. Rondo, point fraud, Magic, Kid, Braun, Marbury, point fraud. Just make it nice and clean aesthetically. Magic. Kid, Marbury. Nope, that's a comma, sir. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll go Nash. What's that? 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, Zeke. I'll let Zeke sneak in there. Who did I forget? I know I'm forgetting somebody. Going off the head here. Kid. I'm not putting Jokic yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9 and 10. Need 2 more. All right, let me move that over here. Where's that list? God damn, close these tabs, bro. Close these tabs. All right, there we go. All right. Now, of today's era, there's no real point guards. Like, I could go Rusty, but I'm not. I guess we kind of have to go Jokic. Yeah, I think to what Untamed. I think Untamed got something there with Jokic. Rondo, point fraud, Magic, Kid, Braun, Marbury, Nash, Zeke, Jokic. Man, who's my 10th? It will not be the habitual nut hitter Draymond Green. It will not. I got to find my 10th. I mean, I could go old school and throw in Big O. I could go old school and throw in Jerry West like this list here, but I'm trying to make sure. I could go Mark Jackson. I could go Stockton. The problem with Stockton is that pick and roll bullshit. Like, yeah, it's point guard stuff, but I don't know, man. It's hard for me to navigate that piece with Stockton. Mark Jackson. You know what? I'm gonna go Mark Jackson. I'll go Mark Jackson. So top 10 actual point guards. Top 10 actual point guards in no order. Rondo, point fraud, Magic, Kid, Braun, Marbury, Nash, Zeke, Jokic, and Mark Jackson. Y'all want me to put Stockton? I'm just not a big Stockton guy, bro. Like, I know he's got all the assists. I think I'm going Mark Jackson over Stockton, bro. He could be outside looking in. He could be OLI. OLI is Stockton. OLI. Because I mean, look, man, let's go ahead and look up. If it's gonna be that kind of stream today, then let's go ahead and have that type of stream. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all trying to get me to say Stockton. I see y'all. I see y'all. Raphael's trying to tell me this to say Stockton. Tame is saying Stockton. I get it. I get it. All right, Stockton, right? 11 assists average, right? Led the league in assists. How many? I mean, all these goddamn. But this is tied to Karl Malone. This is tied to Karl Malone. Remember, Stockton got there first. Stockton got there first. And you see the numbers, it was solid. But then this jump is the Karl Malone jump. When did Malone get drafted? 86. Malone got drafted 86. Came out the gate giving you 15 and then ran off a streak of just 20 plus, 25 plus for like the next fucking decade plus. Like, as much of a despicable human being he is off the court, like 85, 86. And then one was Stockton. Yeah, so right here, this is with Malone. So 1 year without Malone. So what happened here? Because this is a huge jump. Was this, Jerry Sloan wasn't there the whole time, right? Was this when Jerry Sloan got brought in? Let's see. No, Frank Layden. What happened in that year, though? They had Stockton and Malone the first 2 years. And Stockton couldn't even average 10 points or 10 assists. Then whatever happened in 87, 88, he just became a monster overnight. He doubled everything. Damn near doubled in dimes and doubled in points. What happened in 87? Stockton to steals wasn't tied to that. Well, yes, that wasn't tied. That wasn't tied for that. Oh, Raphael bringing up Horny, Jeff Hornacek. All right, so come on. Let's see if we can find out why the hell, because this is weird, no? Tell me this is not weird. A dude is 3 years in the league, and was he starting? He wasn't starting. Okay, so maybe it was just Stockton was put in the starting lineup, and then he started going crazy. I mean, he only got 12 more minutes. 12 more minutes and you double your production? I don't know, man. Some had to happen. I need to do a deep dive on this. Who else is on this team? Thurl Bailey, Mark Eaton, rest in peace. I gotta figure some. Wait. Oh no, Mark Eaton was already there. But to say, was Mark Eaton a rookie? Some had to happen. Raphael, you're saying Jeff Hornacek happened? Okay. Or you're saying Stockton happened? Because there's no proof that Stockton happening. New offense? Okay. I see you, Raphael. New offense? Okay. I mean, same coach, though. So they finally discovered the pick and roll after 3 years of Stockton and Malone playing together? Some weirdo shit. Because I'm not tripping. Y'all see these numbers. Let me make sure y'all can see them on the screen. Oh, yeah, y'all can't see the points. Move that over just a bit. Yeah, like, this is a huge jump, bro. But then you bring into, all right, Raphael saying Stockton happened. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and crunch. I'll go back and watch some games. Right now, I think I'm going to still go with Mark Jackson. Let me put Mark Jackson up here so we're not going too crazy on that. Can't spell today. Now, this may be my New York bias coming through, so I'll give y'all that up front. I mean, I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Southside Jamaica, Queens, but you know, New York is New York. But I mean, out the gate, he's crushing. He's crushing Stockton's numbers out the gate. Out the gate, he's giving you 11 dimes. Remember, this was him and the Strickland shit with the Knicks. Out the gate, he's giving you double-digit points. As a guy that could never shoot, Stockton developed into a shooter. But out the gate, he's giving you double-doubles. Didn't need no new offense for Mark Jackson. He was the offense. I don't know, man. It's a tough call. Just because I saw, maybe because I saw a lot more of Mark Jackson being here on the East Coast than Stockton. Maybe. But, like, I don't know if it's as clear. Like, let me see, John Stockton. Yes, their career. Okay, let's see. We're going to get a head-to-head. I will move this over. Get this to fit. No, that's too far. All right. Y'all see it there. We've reached the part of the stream where we're breaking down Stockton versus Mark Jackson. Damian Lillard, make your mind up. James Harden, make your mind up. Because this is where we at. All right. Stockton obviously played more games. He's a compiler. Now, all these stats are way heavier in the Stockton column. Wait, Mark Jackson's not in the Hall of Fame? That's crazy, bruh. Tim Hardaway's in the Hall of Fame, but not Mark Jackson? That's nasty work, bro. That's nasty work. Like, this makes it seem like it's a landslide. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Andre Miller. You know what? Mo Cheeks, you're right about. I'm not rolling with Andre Miller. Mo Cheeks, you're right. Mo Cheeks, my man's also who comes on my podcast, he would be furious right now. You're right. Mo Cheeks, here's my compromise. I'll take off Mark Jackson. I still ain't putting on Stockton, but I'll put Mo Cheeks. I'll put Mo Cheeks. I'll take off Mark Jackson. I'll fall on the sword there and say y'all are right. Stockton greater than Mark Jackson, but Mo Cheeks, give me Mo Cheeks over Stockton. So I'm good now. I'm happy now. I'm happy now, and I'll put Mark Jackson down here on the OLI. Yeah, that's a great catch by you on Tame. I know my guy also would have came in here, he would have lit me up. Pause. If he would have found out I left Mo Cheeks off of a real point guard list, because I've had this debate with him, and we agree that Mo Cheeks is a real point guard. So good catch by you, Raphael. Back then, you had to put in work before they handed you the keys as the best player. Not everyone started hot. It's how you finished that made your all-time great. I mean, yeah, I think though Mark Jackson was hampered by a few things. The fact that he just could not shoot. He was your stereotypical New York point guard. Like I can tell you that he was your stereotypical New York point guard. They got handles for days, flashy passes, but they can't shoot a lick. And that was what Mark Jackson was. That's what Mark Jackson was. I can tell you that. Hence Kobe and LeBron. Okay, well, explain this part to me then, Raphael. So what part about Kobe and LeBron? You're saying that they had to put in work before they were handed the keys as the best player? Because LeBron was handed the keys day one. And Kobe wanted the keys handed to him, but they just wouldn't. So yeah. Let me know which piece of that you're speaking of. I agree with you if you're talking about LeBron. The Kobe one, we probably have to have a discussion about that. We talked about Kobe earlier because he's on that cover of the video game, NBA 2K24, but they fucked up on the cover. And all they did was just Photoshop the image over each other and called it a cover of a video game. So hopefully they'll clean that up because people are going to be dropping $80, $90, $100 on a video game that has a cover that's literally just a Photoshop image on top of each other. Untamed, good list. Hey, I think I'm going to do a standalone video later in the summer on this because I really want to dive into that topic. That's been a topic for a very long time about because I've been very adamant about certain players not being point guards for a very long time. And when I said Jamal Murray, and I think it's a short, it's a YouTube short on this channel that I did it on. I said Jamal Murray right now in today's NBA is a top 3 point guard. And people were like, what? He's not a point guard. I'm like, y'all are telling me Steph is a point guard. I've actually seen Jamal Murray play point guard. Shit, I've seen Devin Booker play point guard. Okay? And y'all are throwing Dame and Ja and Steph in my face as a retort to me saying Jamal Murray's a top 3 point guard in this league. It's because there's no damn point guards in this league. That's why Jamal Murray could be a top 3 point guard. He shouldn't be a top 3 point guard. But there's so lack of point guards in this league that Jamal Murray, who was averaging 10 assists a game in the NBA fucking finals, is, yes, a point guard. LeBron started hotter. Well, yeah, he was handed the keys. Yeah, he had no choice. Handed the keys. I mean, unless you want to give the keys to Ricky Davis. I mean, Ricky Davis, Carlos Boozer. Who's on that squad? Darius Miles. I mean, Untamed. I'll put Mark Jackson over Marbury. Ooh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe in terms of, it's weird with Marbury, right? Like, all right, let's go ahead to Marbury. Let's go ahead to Marbury. Let's go ahead and just do it. At least now we got Brooklyn on Brooklyn crime. So there's no bias I could show here. It's Brooklyn on Brooklyn. My thing with Steph is this. As much as people like to talk about his shot selection and all that type of shit, you see how, like, the shots are high, right? 20 shots or almost 20 shots, 18 shots, 19 shots. And he's still getting 8, 9, 8, 9, 9, 8, 8, 8, like 9. Like, this is high-level assist work with a high-volume shooting. That's not easy to do, especially in that level, that era of NBA. It's not like today where you're getting tons of possessions per game. Marbury was putting up damn near double-doubles in points and assists in the slowest era of the NBA. I don't think people remember how slow that era of the NBA was. This wasn't the Suns 7 seconds or less shit. This is before that. This was the era when the Spurs and the Pistons were like fucking liquid NyQuil, where they were, visual NyQuil in the NBA Finals. This is that era of the NBA, where the Pistons and the Spurs were killing us slowly with 7-game NBA Finals. Slow. Games were finishing 80-70. And Marbury's out here putting up 20 plus and 9 dimes. You know how productive you have to be to put up 20 plus with 9 dimes in a slow era of basketball? That to me is why I put him in there, even though his total assist numbers pale in comparison to some of these other guys. Because I remember that was when I was really like, I was a fucking teenager during these times. I remember watching Marbury and I'm like, how is he doing this with dudes just walking the ball up every fucking time? In every game, 25-9, 23-9, 30-8, 32-9, 26-7. I'm like, how is he doing this? This was not normal. These aren't normal numbers for this era. Raphael Jackson started hotter, but Stockton finished better and ended with a better career. That's what I was getting at about Kobe LeBron. Kind of different, but the same. Okay, I got you. I feel you. Untamed, but his usage was through the roof while not playing winning basketball. Slow down. Slow down. If you're talking about tail end, if you're talking about that year with y'all in Boston, sure. But that was washed Marbury. The problem with Marbury is he played so much basketball before he got to the league. Like, his body, he played so much basketball prior to getting to going to Georgia Tech, and then prior to making it into the league. Like, the body just wasn't going to hold up. So him making it to 29 and still playing 74 out of 82 is amazing. But then after that, we saw what happened. We know what happened after that. But in terms of him and winning basketball, I don't put all that on Marbury. When he had talent, he went crazy. Minnesota with KG, they went crazy. Made the playoffs. I feel that's true about how slow the game was. Bruh, I mean, NBA Finals games, 80-70. 80-70. Untamed, please go on Marbury's advanced page to see that he was negative in win shares, only 5 playoff appearances. I mean, you say only. I mean, with the teams he was on, you're still saying only 5 playoff appearances? He only had KG for 2 years. The best player he ever played with, he only had for 3 seasons. Like, I'm not going to kill him for that. Especially when you're a point guard, you need people to pass to. Stockton had Malone. Y'all killed Mark Jackson because he didn't really have anybody. I mean, he had Patrick Ewing, a young, raw Patrick Ewing. So he wants to see the advanced numbers. He wants to shit on Marbury. That's fine. Here you go. Here you go. The win shares are there. Although the negative numbers aren't really there until that Boston year. Again, if it's all about that Boston year, then that's fine. You didn't get the good Marbury. But before that, I mean, I don't see negative win shares. And even the usage rate is not that high. Like a usage rate in today, now again, different eras. In today's era, this is a low usage rate. This is a low usage rate in today's NBA. 29, that's not even a starter. That's like a second option, third option. So yes, it's a starter, but it's like a second or a third option in today's NBA. Like Jokic is around this level of a usage rate. Like Luka's in the mid 30s. Harden at his apex was high 30s. Who do we have that was the highest at 40-something? Somebody had, Westbrook. Westbrook had a 40-something. He wants me to go to the playoffs. So we're going to micromanage the few years, the 5 years you're killing him for. Again, still no negative. Where we at? Win shares. Okay. Even here. And so you're going to kill him for a 0.2? It's gotten that bad, we're going to kill him for a 0.2. Okay. Tell me which one of these teams he was supposed to kill on. Which one of these, we won't count the Boston game because we know that was old Marbury. Which one of these teams he was supposed to go crazy with? When he was a rook with KG? When they were comparing them to, Magic and Kareem? They should have went deep in the playoffs that first year? Or the second year, they should have went deep? Or that Phoenix year? When it was just him and a very young Amari Stoudemire and equally as young Sean Marion? Or Knicks tape when he had Keith Van Horn? What year he should have killed in the playoffs? But again, I'm asking another question though. I'm asking, fine, you want to get off about negative win shares in one stat? All right, cool. Where was he supposed to cook? Where was he supposed to go crazy in the playoffs? Phoenix might be the only year you can put that out here. But they had a horrible matchup because what was it, the Spurs, right? Yeah, the Spurs. They played the Spurs in the first round with Duncan at his apex. And he hit the game winner over Duncan, by the way. But nobody wants to give him credit for that. They weren't supposed to get a game. They took those Spurs to 6. They weren't supposed to get a game. But okay. All right. I look at playoff win shares as a greatness stat, but that's just me. I mean, that's a stat. But you also have to look at, where those guys were in their career. Are you going to count Jordan's playoff win shares when he was getting dusted by the Celtics early in his career? Are you going to hold those win shares against him if they're sus? I don't know if they are. But I'm just saying, you have to take into account what he had around him. So that's kind of where, the metrics are there and they can be used, right, as information, as a foundation. But then you kind of have to go between the layers and look at other things, like the fact that this Phoenix team was all young pups, except for Marbury. Joe Johnson 1 year in. Old beat-up Penny Hardaway. You had a rookie Amari Stoudemire. A still very young Sean Marion. They were still giving Bo Outlaw real minutes. Scott Williams was still in the league. Jake Voskuhl. What was Marbury supposed to do with this squad? Randy Brown. Yes, that Randy Brown from the Bulls in The Last Dance. He was on this roster. What was Marbury supposed to do against a top tier in his prime Tim Duncan? So to me, it's yeah, you can give me bad stats or bad negative stats that make Steph look bad, but I'm not going to look past the teams he was on. This Knicks team, who was on it? I mean, they fucking had Herb Williams coaching, Lenny Wilkins came off the pine, Don Chaney. What was he supposed to do? And this is the Isaiah Knicks. This is the Isaiah Knicks. Again, Shandon Anderson, Vin Baker. This is before he started buying up all the Starbucks. Michael Doliak, Isley, again, Penny. Othello Harrington, old Allen Houston, Tamar Johnson. Good Lord. They said he was going to be Magic, the next Magic. McDice with the bad knee. Mutombo, old. Nazir Muhammad, bad. Moochie Norris, bad. Sweetney as a rookie. Kurt Thomas. Tim Thomas, Van Horn, Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was still in the league. Weatherspoon, Seaspoon was still in the league. What was Marbury supposed to do with this squad in the playoffs? What success was he supposed to have? What was the expectation of Marbury with this squad? And I wonder why that man was on a live stream eating Vaseline, being massaged by his mans, listening to gospel music. Because people were expecting him to go far in the playoffs with this roster. That's how you end up eating Vaseline on the live stream, listening to gospel music, being massaged with baby oil by one of your mans. Untamed. Yeah, he might have been dealt a bad hand. But real ballers take that and flip it into something. While Jordan was a 9-time win share leader in his career, but that was a regular season. He was literally the old school Trae Young, a category fantasy player. Marbury was not that. I don't like Trae Young, and I'm here to slander Trae Young, but I'm not here to slander Trae Young. I'm not here to slander Marbury by saying he was Trae Young. We'll just have to agree to disagree on that one. Patrick's pulling up. Chet Hive is real, no doubt. We are all about that Chet Holmgren Hive. There are wagers that could be placed plus 550, depending on the sports book. Chet Holmgren for Rookie of the Year. Big Vic is out here. What was he, minus 160 or something like that? Minus 160. Scoot was plus 3 something. But Chet Holmgren, plus 5 something. We broke down some of Chet's moves. Brandon Miller has had a rough go of it. But our guy Chet don't have those problems, know what I mean? Chet is here for the smoke. He got that dog in him. Chet Holmgren Hive, we are outside. We are ready. And this is I think this is what, no, we didn't do this play. Again, meeting at the point of attack. Let's turn down that audio. Meeting at the point of attack. Chet is ready. His back is to the ball. He takes a glance over. He sees where the action is. He's already coming. He's already decided, I'm coming because this lane is open. He don't care if he leaves open the 3, even though it's a corner 3 and people love corner 3s. He's already decided it's Chet Hive. We outside. I'm getting this block. And he met him at the point of attack and got that yam. We outside. Chet Hive is real. Chet Hive is for real, for real. And everyone is, jumping on the bandwagon now. You see it. You see it starting to build. And you see the moves. Now a Big Vic comes out here and he's doing this. Hezzies. Up and unders. Up and unders from Big Chet. 7-2. 7-2. We talked about the evolution of these positions where, Vic is going to be 7'4", 7'5", and he's not a center. 7'4", 7'5", and he's like a Kevin Durant. He's probably best used as a 3. I said put him at the 2. That might be asking a little bit too much. Put him at the 3 as a 7'4", 7'5", small forward. What do you call that? We got point centers, scoring guards, hybrid guards, hybrid wings. Is he a hybrid center? Is that what Victor Wembanyama is? Because he ain't no center. 7'5" with handles and likes to be on the perimeter. That's not a center. My man Chet is out here doing up and unders, dog. It is Chet Hive all day. He is not for play. Look at the dribble. And he's taking the contact. He's going amongst the trees. Brandon Miller could not do this the other night. Brandon Miller would turn the corner, be met by all these guys, and he would fall or be off balance. Chet is going through 3 dudes and then a 4th at the point of attack at the rim. That's going through 4 out of 5 players as a 7'2", rail-thin dude. He got that dog in him. He got that dog in him. Right to the rack, going through contact. Then we saw this earlier, get the block. Protecting the rim. Getting the tip. Offensive boards. Gathers himself. Yam. Now, Big Vic will do that a lot. Drawing the defense. Again, rule of verticality. The rule of verticality. Shout out to Roy Hibbert, Hoya Saxa. But at the point of attack, I'm already in the air. When you go up, I'll go up. But I'm 7'2" with a ridiculous pterodactyl wingspan. Get that shit out of here. Chet Hive. We here. Untamed, these guys are small forwards. Yeah, they damn sure are. They damn sure are. Can't wait. Can't wait. Everyone wants to see, you know, I do want to see Scoot versus Big Vic, but what I actually want to see is Chet versus Big Vic. Let me see that. Chet Holmgren versus Victor Wembanyama. That's the matchup I really want to see in Summer League. Y'all could go crazy about, you know, Big Vic versus Brandon Miller or Big Vic versus Scoot. I want to see what was kind of supposed to be a preview of what Victor Wembanyama was in Chet Holmgren. Let me see that. Holmgren versus Wembanyama. I'll pull up and do that. All right, let's see. Did we miss anything? Your boy got to get up out of here. I got to make a run. What time is it? Yeah. Damian Lillard's agent is sitting down with the Heat. I mean, who cares, bro? Like, just get this shit over with already. Like, stop it. Stop it. It's going to be confusing to get this deal done because, to Portland's point and to their credit, they're not just going to accept Tyler Hero. So they want way more than just Tyler Hero, and they don't even really want Tyler Hero to keep it a buck with you. So they want more than that. They feel they deserve more than that. They feel they have leverage to do that. So they're holding firm. They'll get some other assets. Maybe they get Ben Simmons if they get the Nets involved. Maybe they get a whole shit ton more picks because I believe initially the Heat was only offering 2 first-round picks, allegedly. But maybe they get 2 from the Spurs. Maybe they get 2 from the Nets. Somebody gonna give them some picks. And then maybe they just have to end up dealing with Duncan Robinson and maybe another small piece here or there. So, but I'm just tired out of all of it. Just get this shit done. Get Dame out of there already. Like, dude is running from the grind. Go run the South Beach. Go run the Biscayne. Go ahead, bro. Like, ain't nobody like tripping off that. And you're still not even the NBA favorites. You're still not even the favorites to win a chip. All this convoluted bullshit, and he's still not even going to be the favorite to come out the East. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. And for Untamed, I don't even think they're actually better than Boston right now. So, because who's Dame going to guard? Who is Dame going to guard on Boston? ISO him to death. Pick and roll. You can't hide him against Boston. You could hide him against lesser teams that don't have as many weapons. You can't hide him. He's going to be on an island with Porzingis. He's going to be on an island with Jaylen Brown. He's going to be on an island with Tatum. And what's he going to do? Untamed saying, what, DeJounte Murray? Okay. So now what does this mean for Trae Young? Trae Young got to go. I've been here saying that. Trae Young got to go. Trae Young got to go, bro. Let me see what Chris Haynes to give us any other insight. Or they're just really just going to ride out with that much money in the backcourt. A backcourt that clearly does not work. DeJounte Murray is a better point guard than Trae Young. But Trae Young has been given point guard responsibilities. Because he was there first, basically. That's the only real rationale is that he was there first. It just doesn't make any sense. Nasty. This is something to do when there's absolutely nothing going on. Today is not that day. But I will bookmark that for a later date. Because I like both players. I have thoughts. All right. I think that's about it for me today, y'all, because I do have to make a run in a few here. All right. We will close out the week. Thanks for all those that have pulled up. As y'all see here, we're all just waiting on this. Whenever this could be official, then we can finally dissect whatever the trade is and we can move on with our lives and then do the same thing for James Harden and the beard. Like just waiting on the beard. Maybe he leaves, maybe he doesn't. He was at an all-white party, so apparently that's supposed to mean something. To me, it doesn't, but tis what it is. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. I appreciate it. We was in here 2 hours deep. Very good stream. We'll finish out the week tomorrow. So until then, 4 p.m. Eastern, if you missed any of this, catch the live tab. Hit the live tab on the channel. Catch the replay. If you have not subscribed, I would encourage you to do so. If you haven't dropped a like, I would encourage you to do so. Either way, I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate you being part of an audience and making me realize a dream of mine to be able to provide content to the masses. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'll catch y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of Timeline T. I'm your host, DCMD, a.k.a. Sam Disney Jr. Peace.